This Bass Pro Shops Night Race Betting Picks 2025 edition of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog. Underdog's got a brand new offer for new customers. Play just $5 and get $50 in bonus funds when you sign up with our promo code RACESGPN.
Drivers, start your engine!
Strap in and pull those belts up tight as the Sports Gambling Podcast Network presents the NASCAR Gambling Podcast.
I'm just gonna put my foot on the floor and I'm not lifting until I see God or a checkered flag.
My man.
With all the news and the best bets for your NASCAR weekend.
We want to thank you tonight for these mighty machines that you brought before us. Thank you for the Dodges and the Toyotas. Thank you for the Fords. Lord, I want to thank you for my smoking hot wife tonight, Lisa. In Jesus' name, boogity, boogity, boogity.
Now, here are your hosts, Rod Villagomez and Cody Zeeb.
Welcome in to another episode of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. He's Cody Zeeb. I'm Rod Villagomez. Welcome to NASCAR Gambling Podcast After Dark. Andrew saying, my mom said I could stay up late for the NASCAR Gambling Podcast. Please tell your mom, Andrew, we are definitely grateful for her letting you stay up late.
Well,
It's a late
I'll tell
night,
her
Cody.
myself later, but thanks to Andrew's mom.
Absolutely love it. Yeah. Sorry about the lateness, guys. Obviously, you know, we lead double lives. And unfortunately, sometimes we can't always become Superman. We have to remain Clark Kent for a little bit longer. But yeah, glad you're up with us, Cody. I know you enjoyed your day, so at least there's that.
Yes, it was a very busy day, but a good day nonetheless. And yeah, you know, we would have been pushing it, getting like top 10 bets and stuff at our regular time anyways. Books were a tad slow to that stuff, so kind of worked out that we were scheduled for a little later. Anyways, Rod even had time to put together the picks graphics. So for those of you that are looking for that at the end of the show, you're welcome.
I feel like the dance that we do with the books will never end. We earlier in the day, we even made this decision earlier in the day, or was it even yesterday to go later today? Right?
I think it was this.
It might have been this morning.
Whenever
it was.
3 days ago. I don't know. I think it was this morning, but I don't remember.
What day is today? What is the day? No, but we made the decision and we were like, yeah, that'll probably give the books a little bit. And then at like 10:30 in the morning of my time, everything was up. And I was like, oh, come on. The day we actually decide to go late, you're already up. So, but that's okay. Cause again, like you said, it gave us time to, you know, do a lot of more research that we needed to find some really good bets.
And hey, we were scheduled for 10 o'clock Central Time, but we moved it up to a little bit. We were a little later than normal, but a little after 9 p.m. Central Time. We did that just for the experts suck, so hopefully they tune in. I know 10 o'clock was past their bedtime. So Hunter says we're on the East Coast over here. I know it's late for you guys. JDK's pounding his pork and listening to the show. Does it get any better? Also, he said frying some cutlets tonight, you pervs. That's what he meant by pounding his pork. I'm sure that's what everybody thought when we said that, but you know,
I'm telling you, this is NASCAR Gambling Podcast After Dark. Like you know, when the cable channels would switch to all of the TV mature and like you would have to go to bed before. Well, I would have to go to bed before all the cable channels switched to mature. This is kind of what this is like, right? Where Cartoon Network started to become Adult Swim, and you're like, oh, you better be in bed before Adult Swim comes on because you can't watch Robot Chicken. But yeah, this is what we're at right now. All right, enough of the after dark nonsense. We are coming to Bristol. What a great way, Cody, to end the playoff round of 16. Then by going on a short track where everybody can get wrecked out and your day can get ruined even worse than
Not
it was
just
last
the
week.
short track, but Bristol under the lights Saturday night. By the way, make sure you get those bets in early. We have a very forward schedule this week. Thursday night for the trucks. So hey, books, let's get some fucking odds out tomorrow because we need to do truck show tomorrow. We can't be waiting on that shit when the race is Thursday night. Friday night for Xfinity and Saturday night for the Cup Series. Saturday night under the lights, the last great Coliseum, and a terrorist is in the field. What more could we ask for, Rod? It's going to be beautiful.
Saw that you got Bob Pockris tweeted on that one too with Austin Hill, the terrorist in there. I didn't see if he tweeted back, but that was a pretty good.
I don't think he responded, but yeah, a lot of people like the tweet, so
I'm sure they are. All right, let's start talking more about Bristol, but I would like to tell you first about the fun stuff that's in our merch store. 25% off of everything in the merch store. Promo code football. Go make sure that you check out all of this. And then, our show merch is awesome. We've got great t-shirts. We've got great hoodies. We've got great mugs. So much good Racing Gambling Podcast stuff in the merch store. Make sure you grab that. And, of course, because football season is upon us, get 25% off of everything if you use the promo code football. Speaking of football, I had a fantastic football weekend, Cody. I watched not only my Niners beat the hated Seahawks, but I watched Army football come back to beat Kansas State. I watched Fresno football come back to beat it did whatever. And then I watched my Ottawa Red Blacks come back in fine style to beat the team they were playing as well. So I watched 4 great games this weekend, and all 4 of my teams won. It'll never happen again, but I'm going to enjoy it.
Yeah, I don't really know what that's like, but I did attend Saturday, or was it Friday? We went to Nebraska, and a lot of people don't care about volleyball, but we are ranked number 1 in the country in volleyball. We have a great volleyball program here. It's actually harder to get into volleyball games than football games in Lincoln. Went and attended a game of Person. That was a lot of fun. They kicked ass. Then the Husker football team came out. I think it was 70-0. They won on Saturday. And I don't know if you saw, I retweeted at Husker_Zeeb a video of Matt Rule. Somebody got a video in the locker when there wasn't supposed to be a video going on at halftime. They were up 33-0, and he was pissed. It was an old school go fucking stomp their asses speech, and I had goosebumps by the end. I was ready to run through a wall, put on a Nebraska football helmet. And yeah, Patriots had a bye week in week 1, so that was fine. Dolphins this week, so we'll see how that goes.
Beautiful stuff. Corey, plus 750 5-leg parlay. Larson top Chevy, Blaney top Ford, Briscoe top 5, Hamlin top 5, Blaney top 10. Did I make a good move? Chat, did he make a good move?
Larson is plus 210 to win this race on some books, Rod.
I see that.
I'm sorry. Apologies. Captain Shook is plus 210 to win. I know if you pull up all the Bristol stats, I know he was good here. How can you talk yourself into betting on him this week? Putting in the parlay may be fine, but there's other Chevys I'd rather have than Kyle Larson. But he had a little spark where he looked sort of good last week, and then guess what happened? He didn't finish well, because when pianos are falling or when you're shook, you're shook. So yes, Christopher, I like your take. Hamlin plus money against Larson. It is tempting. Did not make my card. Did it make yours? No, it didn't.
No, it didn't.
But it is tempting. I've considered that highly. So, and we've got some more thoughts on Kez. Kylie with the Hamlin top 5 plus 105. Ooh, I did not see that number. That is a gift. Yeah, take that for sure. And sorry, JDK, your comments blacked out. I can't see what's going on there, but we'll move on.
Weird that the chat just sort of collapsed at that comment. It'll be back in the next one, so make sure you flood comments in there, because we can.
It was a warm-up game, though. They'll be ready for this week, maybe.
Well, speaking of this week, Bristol Motor Speedway, baby. It is the Bass Pro Shops night race. I'm, for one, glad, Cody, that we have 2 concrete races on Bristol. I loved the dirt. Don't get me wrong. But just something to be said about, racing around on the pavement than racing around on the dirt on this particular track.
That dirt race was fun, though. I sort of miss it. I think we should bring it back, bro.
All right, fine. We'll bring it back, but not until at least another 5 or 6 years down the road when we're good and ready for dirt racing again. 500 miles around this 0.533 mile paved track, 266 0.500 miles of some of the hardest racing that you will ever endure around this track. And yeah, I mean, look, it's the, like I said, cutoff race of the round of 16. We have got some pretty, well, not surprising names sitting below the cut line, but at least one that wishes he was on the other end of that because the rest of his friends are all the way up there. So, yeah, Cody, this is make or break for Austin Dillon, Shane Van Gisbergen, and Alex Bowman and Josh Berry.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, after this race, 4 of those guys going to go home for sure. Go Fest, Luigi asking, does dirt track history make this tougher to predict? I don't think so. I think you just toss that out. You don't look at those races at all. Only look at the concrete races here and just roll with that. So less races, obviously, but we have 5 next gen races. I think that's plenty. I did want to touch on tires real quick. Goodyear, there's been a lot of talk about tires this week, and Goodyear thinks that they have brought this tire that's going to be ultra destructive. We'll see. Right? That's like, here's the problem is we had that one
breath, by the way.
we had that one perfect race a couple of years ago in the spring where it just caught everybody off guard and it was a crazy good race. It was exciting, it was fun, but they've not been able to replicate that, right? And they've tried some different stuff and it's not worked. Sure, Goodyear says this tire should wear. Will it wear? Remember last time we were here, was that in the spring? Remember the night before, like, and I can't stress this enough, after practice, do not overreact. Because after practice in the spring, everybody, we got to have more tires. Keselowski was like tweeting and like, please, NASCAR, give us more tires. We're not going to have enough tires. This isn't going to work. We need more tires. And then not a drop of wear at all the whole race, right? It was just Larson led like 575 laps of 400 laps or whatever it was. Like it was not no tire wear at all. But everybody thought after practice, oh my God, it's going to wear so much. So I'll caution you a lot. Do not overreact because we don't know. Now, some of the bets I'm going to give out today, I would love for tire wear because I think that those, in particular, there are some drivers, Denny Hamlin, Brad Keselowski, a couple other guys in the field that it's going to help a lot, right? But do not bank on it happening. Do not bank on it not happening. Don't overreact to practice. We are not going to know until we're in the race what's going to happen. They're applying some PJ1 this week. Like, they're throwing everything at the board. What's going to stick? How's it going to stick? If anybody tells you they know what's going to happen, they're fucking lying because I just don't know how we're going to know until we're 70, 80, 100 laps into the race what we're even going to get. And I don't think that anybody else is going to know either.
And really, if you think about it too, this is what makes this sport not only difficult to handicap most times, but imagine the crew chief, imagine all of these guys that are preparing in the shop not knowing either. Like, how do you set up your car for a tire? You don't know what's going to happen, that when you get on the track, you don't know. You just don't know the balance. You don't know the wear. You don't know anything. So you go out there with your best guess. And Cody, like you said, practice goes horribly for you. Well, then you've just learned. So now you're going to go back to the garage. You're going to make all the adjustments that you need to make and then go back out and then hope that it stays the same.
Yeah, because you hope that it stays the same. And that's the thing is, I haven't looked at practice, but likely it's during the day. We're racing at night, so that's already going to be different. We've seen temperatures of 5 degrees make, a 5-degree difference, make all the difference in how the tire wears, what it does. And like we saw in the spring, they thought it was going to be one thing, and it was the complete opposite. So as JDK saying here, Goodyear says they're aiming to have a tire that doesn't last 70 laps in the future. We're getting the everlasting gobstopper of tires. I mean, yeah, that's like, it's just, I don't know. It's so hard to know. And even for Goodyear, like Denny was talking on his show this week about some machine they were putting it, like destroyed the machine because the tire wore so much. And they can do all these simulations and technology is great, but you don't know what the exact racing conditions are going to be. The rubber, how's the rubber going to be affected from all the other racing? I think ARCA's racing this week. You got the other 2 series. Like, so PJ1 is a whole other wrinkle to things. We've not really seen, PJ1 used to be standard. We haven't seen that really much the last couple of years. So it's just going to be, I think it's hard to really parlay that too much into your thinking this week, I guess.
Does the tire change flavors as it wears? That's what I want to know. That if you lick the tire,
flavor tires,
interesting, and then in the middle of it, like, do you get a different flavor? All right. Doesn't really matter.
Should we? Do you want to set up the entry list and points now, or you want to do it on the other side?
Let's do it on the other side. That way we have plenty of time to do it. So,
Sounds
all right, that's good. Let's talk to you first about our friends over at mybookie.ag. We're brought to you by mybookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet on football and everything else. Their prop builder, second to none. Their motto is bet on anything, anywhere, anytime. And if you've listened to any of my promos, you know that is exactly what you can do. Easy deposit, lightning fast payout using cryptocurrency. I know I love to give you some far out sports. But let me tell you, football is back, baby, and football is king right now. And there is a line that I'm staring at that I am salivating. In fact, my microphone's pretty much just a big, soupy, goppy mess because of this line. Baltimore Ravens, Cleveland Browns. They're giving you Baltimore minus 11. I don't care. I would give Baltimore minus 600 at this point. They are pissed. They are ready to stomp on the Browns, and the Browns, they're not going to be able to put up any fight whatsoever against a steaming mad Baltimore Ravens team. You think you're going to stop Derrick Henry? I don't think anybody's going to stop Derrick Henry this coming week. So give me Baltimore Ravens minus 11. I'll take the points. I don't care. At minus 110 over on mybookie.ag. Head to mybookie.ag. Promo code SGPN for a 100% bet back bonus up to $500 for new customers. That's mybookie.ag. Promo code SGPN. Like I said, football is back, baby. The NFL is back, and last season rhythm was 76-66 against the spread and 22-19 on over-unders. They really shined on player props. How about Baker Mayfield? All right, fine. I gave him a really bad time in my article. He ended up really, really providing. So 10-5 on Baker Mayfield props, 25% ROI. Rhythm also has MLB, WNBA, golf, and college football, and Rhythm has introduced a leaderboard with weekly cash prizes just for tracking your bets in the app. Track 5 bets of the same type from any model. You could win up to $1,000. Mention Seahawks Steelers, giving them a prediction of 41 total points. The over-under on this one's 40 on mybookie.ag. They're predicting 41 points. So I guess take the over. Look, Aaron Rodgers is going to do Aaron Rodgers things, so you probably should take the over on this one. Just to be safe. Get your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. I loved NFL week 1, Cody. It was so full of great stuff.
NFL is king. We had some really good games too. Boy, how about a couple of them primetime games? I went to bed Sunday night. I was so tired Sunday night. Went to bed. Ravens were killing things. I woke up and I saw some messages from Adam Pelletier, of course, our wonderful editor-in-chief on one of our fantasy leagues. And I'm thinking, well, you're talking a lot of shit for the Bills getting their ass kicked last night. And then I pulled up the score and I was like, oh, okay. I guess that's why.
Yeah. And last night was shaping up to be a very snooze fest until J.J. McCarthy remembered how to play football.
Yeah, he learned very quickly how to play. It was crazy.
It's good for my fantasy team too, because now I get a beer thanks to J.J. McCarthy. So I'm gonna Venmo him some so he can pick himself up one.
See, oh yeah, he's an older quarterback, right? He's probably.
Oh yeah, he's old enough to drink.
Okay. Yeah.
Speaking of old enough to drink, all the drivers on this list are old enough to drink, and the playoffs are set up. Some of them may need a stiff drink after this is all said and done.
All right, Rod, we got 39 entries for the Cup Series. All 39 will make the race. Chad Fincham returns in the 66. Corey Heim returning in the 67 car for 2311, of course. And the terrorist himself, Austin Hill, making a start in the number 33 car. So my advice is watch out if you're a driver that's out there against Austin Hill, because we've seen it all from him.
We've seen it all. And again, I will not defend anybody's actions if they're douchebags, and he is one of them. There are a couple of others. And yes, JDK, I will even say that Kyle Larson has been one of those as of late in putting himself straight into Ryan Blaney was inexcusable. So I definitely am not taking sides just because I can't stand certain drivers. Kyle Larson was wrong last week as well.
Yes, that was. I don't know what to say about that.
Did he think he was on the dirt? Did he think he was back on dirt?
I don't think there was any thinking involved, and that's possibly was the problem. So, all right, Rod, we will cut the field from 16 down to 12 after this race. Of course, if you're newer to this, that's how it works, right? So we have 16 drivers in the playoffs right now. After this race, it'll be cut to 12. They'll be reset to the playoff points they earned in the regular season and the additional playoff points they've earned over the last couple of races, especially guys like Denny Hamlin, Chase Briscoe. Denny Hamlin, of course, won last week, Briscoe 2 weeks ago, so they're locked in. They have nothing to worry about, just out for a Sunday drive this week. They're already in the round of 12. Kyle Larson is 60 points to the good on the cut line, so going to be pretty hard for him to not make this, essentially. I mean, so he's 52 points ahead of Ross Chastain. So if we were to get a new winner, Ross Chastain would have to score 52 more points than him. 61 is the most points you can score. 1 is the least points you can score. So I'm not saying Kyle Larson could step on it, because he could. But also everybody else would have to have really good days. So highly unlikely that will happen. So Kyle Larson feeling pretty good. Bubba Wallace is 50 points to the good. He's feeling pretty good. Ryan Blaney's feeling good at 42. William Byron, 39. Reddick, 37. We're starting to get into a little bit, we're still feeling pretty good for those guys. Don't go out and finish last, because that can really fuck your day, right? Christopher Bell, 32. Chase Elliott, 28. Logano, 21. Ross Chastain, 19 to the good. Austin Cindric, 11 to the good. Austin Dillon is 11 to the bad. Shane Van Gisbergen's 15 to the bad. Those are the two guys, personally, I believe, could point their way in. Although mathematically, everyone could, I suppose. It'd take a lot of help. But Austin Dillon, Shane Van Gisbergen, if a couple of those guys, if Cindric, Chastain, Logano have trouble, they could easily point their way in. Alex Bowman, 35 points to the bad. Let's make sure we get these guys who don't win races and score points into the playoffs, because they deserve to be there. Oh, okay. Sorry. Got distracted. Alex Bowman, 35 points out. Josh Berry, 45 points out. I think Berry's completed 6 playoff laps so far through 2 races. But those guys likely need to win. And that's the thing about this weekend. If Josh Berry or Alex Bowman wins, doesn't matter how far into the cut line they are, they will move on. So a win secures you in. Obviously, a lot of these guys will point their way into the next round.
Indeed, yeah. So obviously, we'll have a few of them on our cards. And welcome in to the Expert Sucks. Made it in, staying up late, just in time.
Started early for you, so yes, I'm glad you're here. And wants to know if Chase Elliott can win. I do believe so. Actually, I'm not going to lie. I had Elliott penciled in for a minute. I changed a bit, but yeah, I don't. Elliott could be good, and I've got him in other bets, so we definitely will talk about him. Christopher likes Chase Elliott as well. Doesn't know about a win, but does like him. TK doesn't believe, by the way. Shout out to TK. What time is it there, TK? It's probably
it's Eastern time.
Mid-morning. No, not for TK. It's not in Eastern time zone.
I thought. Oh no, TK's in Australia.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah. I don't believe Elliott can win, but at best he can if favorites are taken out like Atlanta. Hey, this could be a crazy race, and Austin Hill's in it, so you never know.
Indeed. All right, well then, let's start loading up our card, because I know Expert Sucks loves to hear our matchups, and that's what we're leading off.
Yeah, and we got to get everybody to bed. So let's get into it, Rod. I'm going to start off with a matchup. Take a Bubba Wallace over Alex Bowman, -105. This one's not even close, in my opinion. I mean, look at these two drivers recently, and it is just not even close. I'm surprised Bubba's only -105 to this. And like, if you look at Bristol, it's not like one has a huge advantage over the other. It's actually pretty close, and it does favor in Bubba's side anyways. Bubba's won 2 of the last, so there's 5, just to reset it up, 5 next-gen races on the Bristol concrete. Again, don't look at the dirt races, because that is completely separate, doesn't count. But we've had 5 concrete next-gen races at Bristol. Bubba's won the last 2 over Bowman, 2 in a row, and he's won 3 of the 5 overall, so he gets the edge there. 19th here in the spring to 37th. 3rd last fall. I'd like to circle that. The fall race, the night race, right? That's going to be a little different than the spring race always for Bubba Wallace. A great day. To 9th for Bowman, not a bad day. But then if you go back and you look at what have you done for me lately, you go to Worldwide Technology, where we were last week, 8th place. Nice run for Bubba Wallace. 26 for Alex Bowman. By the way, Alex Bowman's entire pit crew got fired. He now has the 77 pit crew from Carson Hocevar. And the 48 pit crew has been swapped to the 77 because they obviously fucked up really bad the last 2 races, like really bad, and probably have cost him his playoffs. I mean, honestly. So they've been fired and replaced. So new crew working on that. Bristol's a tough place on the pit crews for sure. So just wanted to throw that note out there. But 26th at Gateway to 8th for Bubba. Great finish for Bubba there. Darlington, 6th place for Bubba. 31st for Bowman. Both of them at shitty days at Daytona. Fine, whatever. Richmond, Alex Bowman did finish 2nd. Bubba was 28th, but he led 123 laps. Was that the race where he lost a wheel, I think, late while they were leading? Or I think they were 2nd on the pit cycle or something. Having a good day. So that's the one kind of asterisk in here that's a non-super speedway. Okay, but he was still, the performance was there, having a great day. Result just wasn't there. 8th at Watkins Glen to 20th, 6th at Iowa to 7th. He won, of course, the Brickyard 400 to 9th. Dover, which is the last comp track we had, Bowman a little bit better with a 3rd place finish, but Bubba was right there in 7th. So all the boxes are checked good for Bubba here lately. A lot of bad for Alex Bowman coming into this. Oh, yeah. And Alex Bowman has to be desperate. They're going to have to try and make pit calls here. They're going to have to try strategy. They're going to have to try all this. Bubba, he's feeling pretty good, right? They just need to go have a clean race on to the next round. I like having the guy that has to have a clean race over the guy that has to gamble. This isn't he's on the playoffs, he could gamble. Oh, let's try. They have no other choice. He's 35 points below the cutoff line. Unless some guys have a lot of trouble early and the picture changes quickly, they have to be aggressive. They have to try and win this race, which means that, it generally doesn't work out when you have to try that. So give me Bubba Wallace over Alex Bowman at -105. What book did I find that on? That's a great question. I'll have to check that out. I think it was ESPN.
I do like this one. There's actually a couple of Bubba's out there that I do like too. There's a couple of Bubba head-to-heads that I like. I just know that you had put that one in there. I think there was another one over Bowman that I liked as well that I saw. So I would pretty much take anybody over Bowman at this point. I think we're picking on guys below the cut line because my next bet is actually on one of those guys below the cut line. Kyle Busch over Josh Berry. Whew, man, Josh Berry, you talked about it just a second ago. He's only finished 6 laps in the playoffs so far. He did what?
It was slightly more. It was more than that, but it's not been much. I mean, he didn't make it the one lap at Darlington, and then I think on lap 20 he was wrecked last week. So they came out and ran some laps, yes, but he was out of it very early in both races.
Yeah, 35 laps officially completed at Gateway. He did complete 239 of 367, but he was down like 1.5 million laps. So it's just been tough sledding. 36th finish at Gateway, 38th place finish at Darlington. He had a 9th place finish at Daytona and an 8th place finish at Richmond, which made you really think that Josh Berry was about to get back. But his average finish this season, 21.9. Outside of that stunning win at Las Vegas, it's just been ho-hum. Right. I mean, even 30th place at Nashville, 26th at Mexico City. I know it's a road course. 32nd in Atlanta. I know it's a super speedway. 34th at Chicago. Yeah, that's a road course too, but 28th at Dover, 22nd at Indy. Just a string of pretty bad luck for Josh Berry. And honestly, I don't care who you put him up against. You could put Cody Ware up against Josh Berry. I may take Cody Ware in this instance because it's just been that bad for Josh Berry. And then you want to talk about gambling. They have to take all the gambling in the world. And JDK saying this is the dumpster fire of matchups. It really is too, because I know you don't like you some Kyle Busch, and that's fine. But Kyle Busch, in and of his own right, has had some troubles. 22nd at Gateway last week. Yeah, but 8th place at Darlington the week before that. 33rd at Daytona Super Speedway. Okay. 16th at Richmond, though. That's a good finish for him there. And then, 11th at Dover, a 5th place at Chicago, 8th at Michigan. But Bristol's been one of those tracks where he's been not quite as good as you want him to be. In fact, if you look at our friends over at iFantasy Race, they've got their next gen average finishing heat chart. Josh Berry is 15th overall with a 17.7. He does have 2 12th place finishes and a 29th place finish on this track to his credit. Kyle Busch, on the other hand, 34th, 20th, 25th, 14th in his last several races here. But there is so much of the what have you done for me lately right now going on that I don't think that Kyle Busch is going to have as bad of a race as Josh Berry has had over the last couple of weeks. And the yips are out there for Josh Berry, and something's found him in each one of the last 2 playoff races. they're capable of a 12th place finish. Absolutely, they are. But they're just not putting it together right now. And Kyle Busch has at least been running in and around the top 15 each and every week, if not peeking his head in there and finishing there. So, again, it's a dumpster fire, but this could even still cash if Kyle Busch is 21st and Josh Berry is 22nd. So, I'm not really caring where they finish, so long as Kyle Busch finishes one spot ahead of Josh Berry. And you can get this at -115 on ESPN.
Yeah, I mean, when you're shook, Rod. We've seen a lot of that here lately, and Barry is very shook at the moment. I mean, Kyle's sort of shook in his own ways, although he got a shot to help some of that shakiness. Yeah, I used to be such a Barry hater, and then he won that one race, and for some reason, it just flipped all the switches for me. And why? We haven't seen anything out of this 21 car lately. I need to go back to the Barry hate. So, yeah, I fully endorse this with you. Dude, he's not very good right now. He sucks. So, yeah, give me Kyle Busch over Josh Berry this week.
It is
suck. Can we expect any guy getting NASCAR this week? I mean, Hocevar still in this race. More concerned about Austin Hill is in this race. So, yes, you could definitely get NASCAR this week. And Bristol, Saturday night, last great Coliseum, Austin Hill, playoff cutoff race. I'm telling you, these playoff cutoff races are more crazy than regular races. So, yes, people can get NASCAR this week. And, yes, JDK, you have been trying to preach the gospel of the Barry hate for weeks. I had not listened. I've now come to repent and am here with you.
I will tell you this, though. I will give you that I am more terrified of Austin Hill being in the field this week than the other driver that you mentioned, because there's definitely more.
Really saying something.
It's got to be saying something for me, which, by the way, Cody, have you fixed the hydraulics on that car lift yet?
We're on to Bristol.
On to Bristol. JDK.
I wish I had my hoodie to pull up right now, but we're on to Bristol, Rob.
Did your teenage girlfriend step in your press conference and tell you that
we're on to Bristol?
We're on to Bristol. All right. What's
I'm
next?
just here so I don't get fined.
Love it. All right. Who do we got next?
I might be forgiven for that, JDK, but you might not forgive me for this, but that's okay. Brad Keselowski, top 10 plus 150. Yes, we've got burned a little bit on Brad Keselowski here lately, Rod, but it's not been as bad as everybody's making it out to be. So let's look at Brad Keselowski. He's been pretty good on this track in a general sense. 16th here in the spring. Sadly, a 26th place finish last fall. Not a good day. But third place here in March of 24. By the way, that was the tire race. So if we have the crazy bad tire wear, really in that race, the tire wear was Denny Hamlin, Martin Truex, and Brad Keselowski. Obviously, Truex is now retired. So Hamlin and Keselowski, I think, would be the guys that would benefit the most. I think there's a chance it could help Kyle Busch if he can not hit the spin cycle every 10 laps, because he's a guy that can handle that type of stuff. But those are the guys I really think could stick out. So if we do get that, that would help this. I'm not only placing this because of that, but fall of 23, 8th place finish, fall of 22, a 13th place finish. Prior to that, he was really good. By the way, the fall of 22 with the 13th place, dominating car, led 109 laps, late pit mistake. I don't remember. I think it was maybe just a slow stop even. And Buescher goes on to win in the RFK car. But Keselowski should have won that night. He had a dominating performance. Results not quite there. But all we need him to do is get a top 10. And you think, well, Brad Keselowski's not really been that good lately. Well, that's not actually really that accurate. Like 17th last week, that's not a top 10, yes, but not completely out to lunch. 17th, we're not too far outside of there, right? 15th at Darlington, we'll take that. 18th at Daytona, 9th at Richmond, though, so had a good finish there. Watkins Glen is Brad Keselowski on a road course, right? Iowa, though, 3rd place. Indianapolis, 5th place. Dover, comp track, 10th place. Sonoma, even 11th place. Street course, who cares? 2nd at Atlanta, 9th at Pocono. It's been outside of, Watkins Glen, fine. In Chicago, it's been really some pretty good runs for Brad Keselowski. We've seen some speed out of the RFK cars. We've seen a little bit of stuff. You're coming to a track that's tough to race on, leans into a Keselowski type. So I think it's a good week. I think at plus 150 is a pretty good number for Brad Keselowski top 10. So give me the driver of the 6 car. And then John or Nemechek, we're just going to keep riding this train. I mean, Legacy Motor Club has looked so good. They have been really, really great here as of late. And I'm choosing Nemechek over Jones this week. Similar numbers, but I like Nemechek's past performance here. And he's been running really well, obviously, along with Jones here lately. So top 10 is plus 450 for Mr. Nemechek. If you go and you look at his stats here, of course, the tab doesn't want to open. 21st here in the spring. So Legacy started to come into their own, not completely there, right? But a 21st place run. Great. I love that. 33rd here last fall. Don't really care that much because, well, Legacy was not themselves last year. Tire race? What if we get a tire race, Rod? Well, he finished 6th here in the tire race. Okay, you love to see that, right? His other couple of starts were pre-next gen era, but a 13th in his first career start here in 2020 in the 38 car for Front Row. Of course, we had no practice at that point in time during the COVID years at all. And he was a rookie making a start, his first career start here. So I like what he's done here in the past. And I love what he's done for me lately. 6th place run at Gateway last week, 4th place run at Darlington the previous week. I mean, really, I don't think I need to go much past that. Like, that's been 2 races on fire. Decent day at Daytona. You know, Richmond was rough. Glen was rough. But even Iowa's 15th place run, that's great. He's competing for a top 10 at the end of the day. Indianapolis, 12th place. Dover, which is a comp track, was 21st. Not a bad run there at all. Pocono, the 6th place. Mexico City, the 6th place. Even back to like Texas, the 8th place. He's had really good runs throughout the season. Legacy has really found their own, especially down the stretch here lately. They've been running good. So Keselowski top 10 at plus 150. Nemechek top 10 at plus 450.
The difference between what Legacy's been doing and what some of these other highly touted guys that are supposed to make the top 10 each and every week is their finish.
We're on to Bristol, Rob.
I'm making the point, damn it. This is why guys like Eric Jones and John Hunter Nemechek deserve the airtime that they get, is because they're not screwing around. They're doing it the right way. They're just trying to stay in the mix, drive clean, and just be there at the end. And they are. And that's the problem.
Why'd you put
when
so much emphasis on the word clean, Rob?
Has John Hunter Nemechek been in the center of controversy week after week after week? How many top 10s does he have? How many top 10s is the other?
He's been there before.
Tasmanian Devil.
Sure, but,
yes.
He has cleaned up his act, and he's been doing very well for us here.
He has, and that's exactly why I like them better than I like some of these other folks. So, all right. We've got plenty of other bets to get to, but first, let me formally tell you about our friends over at Underdog Fantasy. Underdog, it's also a great place to play fantasy pick'em, where you can win up to 500 times your entry. All you got to do is pick higher or lower on your favorite player's stats. It's available for a ton of sports. And again, if you've listened to this show for 10 minutes, you know that I give you some pretty awesome plays. But again, it's football season, and you got to go with some of the great stuff they're offering, especially for Thursday Night Football. Deebo Samuel made a splash with the Washington Commanders. Made me sad to watch him tear it up in another person's uniform, but 10 targets, 7 catches, 77, the only 77 that I'll endorse yards. And he had 1 rush for 19 yards and a touchdown. Here's the thing. All right. Underdog's giving you a rushing projection of 3.5 rush yards. Man, if you do not break your finger hitting the higher on that one, you're doing it wrong. And then they give you a 50.5 receiving yards. I kind of like that one as well. So definitely higher than 3.5 rushing yards for Deebo Samuel this Thursday night against Green Bay. And if you like, I think the 50.5 receiving yards are good enough to grab higher than as well over there on Underdog Fantasy. Plus, I've got a brand new offer for new customers. Play just $5, get $50 in bonus funds when you sign up with our promo code RACESGPN. We're also brought to you by Novig. Novig is America's #1 sports prediction market. Since Novig is an exchange, you know where you're getting some of the best prices in the market. Novig's available in 35 or more states. Download the Novig app and get $50 when you spend $5 if you use our promo code SGPN. Get in on the action with promo code SGPN. Well, I know that the Niners missed them some Deebo Samuel last week, watching no Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle falling out. Like, yeah.
RIP to a bunch of my fantasy teams are already on the IR. Now it looks like you might have McCorkle starting for you this week potentially. Oh boy, things could get rough on 49.
It's all right. We've been there before. Now we've had so many guys hurt. It's just almost like, hey, if you want to,
you guys are like, you are the most fragile franchise when it comes to players. Like, I don't think there's got to be stats on how the 49ers are, especially star players in the 49ers, are hurt way more than any.
I mean, you could go back to the Alex Smith days. Like, ridiculous. I mean, even with Joey Bosa getting hurt lately and, Jimmy Garoppolo getting hurt as much as he did back in the day. Yeah, Niners are made of glass. But at least the glass is making to the playoffs year after year. All right, speaking of playoffs, Cody, more playoff drivers to talk about here. I am going to give you, not a playoff driver in this instance, but he's driving with playoff drivers. And I'm going to give you Zane Smith as my next bet. Caesars is giving us the finishing positions once more. And I'm going to clarify one more time. Over is worse than in betting terms. So I'm going to take Zane Smith over 22.5 at -110. There's not been a lot to cheer for Zane Smith as of late. 33rd place at Gateway, 13th at Darlington. I know that that's better than 22, but 31st at Daytona, 11th at Richmond. A couple of good, short track finishes, but 36th at Iowa, 31st at Iowa, 22nd at Dover. He's done well in spurts. 25th at Pocono. He did have a 7th place at Michigan. That's great. 13th at Nashville, but 39th at Charlotte. It's just tough. 27th at Bristol earlier in the year, and that's kind of where I'm going with this one too, because Zane Smith has finishes of 23, 23, 23, 31, and 25. I know that I'm not the greatest at math, but each and every one of those finishes has been over 23 or 22 and a half rather. So even if it's just by a half a position, he has never finished better than 22 and a half in the next gen era here. I'm sorry. This is the heat rankings. Hi, Rod. Click the correct link when you're talking about drivers. Still Zane Smith, 36th, 16th, and 27th. So he's 2 for 3. I knew this going in, but this is after dark. So you got to, give us a little bit of slack. Zane Smith, 36th, 16th, and 27th. So an average finish here of 26.3. But even still, not an average finish better than 22.5 on this particular track. And honestly, too, when you've got all of these playoff drivers that are going to be just going crazy all over the place, there's going to be some havoc. And Zane Smith has found his way into more than a few havoc races. He crashed out at Daytona, crashed out at Charlotte, crashed out at Indy, had a drivetrain problem in Mexico City. So he's got 4 DNFs on the year, average finish of 21, which is still 1 place better than 22nd. But like I said, it's just been a rough go. He's only got 3 top 10s this season too. And it just doesn't feel very good, or doesn't feel like a very good spot again for Zane Smith. He can't be a top 25 car. That's fine. I don't think he'll be a top 22 car though by the end of the day.
Yeah, I've been a big Zane Smith guy, but not feeling it here lately. Maybe when we get back to the 1.5 mile type tracks, he's done pretty well on those, but I think it's going to be a rough week for Zane Smith. I do not think it's going to be a rough week for AJ Allmendinger, Rod. Let's run it back once again. Top 10 at 6-1. What are we doing? He finished top 10 here in the spring with a 9th place finish. You love to see that. A couple of 23rd places last year. Colleague was off their game. AJ really off his game last year. Not going to overthink that. 30th in 2023, but 2022, when things were going well for him, he was running well. 7th place finish in the fall race here. So you like to see that. I'd like to think he'd do better with tire wear, but 23rd here in the tire race, although Colleague wasn't great at the time. So, we'll toss that out there, but tire wear should favor a guy like him. Rougher day at Gateway last week with the 23rd place finish, but cash big tickets for us. 10-1 top 10s, by the way. At Darlington just a couple of weeks ago. Been a little bit of a mixed bag lately. Yes, he did wreck at Dover, the comp track, unfortunately, but overall been a strong season for AJ Allmendinger. So we're just going to continue to ride that train at 6-1. And then, Rod, I've got a bet here that I can't say I have a lot of stats to back this bet up. And I see your face, right? There's not a lot, but it's speaking to me. So, Sour D, this is for you, but I know you're a big fan of the number 4 car. Kevin Harvick. Oh, wait, it's not Kevin Harvick anymore. Damn it. That's all right. We'll do it. We'll do fine with Noah Gragson. I'm going to take Noah Gragson. Top 10, 9-1. Again, I don't have a ton of statistics to really back this up. I just feel like this is a Noah Gragson week. I don't know why, but when the gut says something, the gut says something. 23rd here in the spring, not the greatest of runs, but last year in this fall race, 12th place. So he's got the ability to run near the top 10 at least. 34th in his other career start here. He's only got the 3, so is what it is. He has won here twice in Xfinity, though, so I do like that. Obviously, he's dominated a lot of places back in the day. And it's been a mixed bag lately, but there's been some bright spots. Darlington, he ran 14th just 2 weeks ago, had a solid day there. The other bright spots, they're not often, but there's a few decent finishes back throughout the rest of the week. Again, this is more just a gut bet for me. I don't know why I'm attracted to Noah Gragson this week. He is a beautiful man. So we're going to ride the top 10 at 9-1. If you want more stats to back that up, well, sorry. If you trust my gut like I do, then here we go.
I'd rather ride the Frosty than ride the Dente this week. So I'm kind of with you on that one as well.
I don't think he's sponsored by Wendy's.
No, but I mean, he was, and that was the fun part about him. He would go around handing off.
He did have. Oh, that was a good partnership. I get they want the Trackhouse thing, but that was a great.
It was good because he was a great spokesperson for Wendy's. Like, I believe he would eat Wendy's every day if he could.
Yes. Oh yeah. Dude's got like 16 cans of chew in his pocket at all times. Like he's just a regular.
I kind of miss the old Noah Gragson. Right? I bring free Noah.
I do too. Unbutton the fire suit again. The big sunglass things. He was puking every time he won a race. God, Xfinity Series Noah Gragson was just peak beautifulness.
I agree. All right, my next bet, maybe not peak beautifulness, but definitely one that I think has a very good shot at cashing, and that is Ross Chastain, a top 10 car for the number 1 car. You get that plus 160 over on Hard Rock. I just, for some reason, Noah Gragson. Look at you, got Noah Gragson on the mic. You want to talk about After Dark? Woo, that fire suit unbuttoned. Got me. Anyways, Ross Chastain, not necessarily quite as sexy, but he is 3 for 5 in the 1 car, finishing inside of the top 10 at the Bristol Motor Speedway. He finished 6th in 2029 in the fall. He finished 10th in the fall of 2024. And then earlier this year, he turned in a 7th place finish, did Ross Chastain. And I think he could do it again, right? I mean, Ross Chastain is one of those guys where you don't really need to go into a whole lot of depth when you're trying to talk about a top 10 car because you know he's capable of doing it. We've seen the firepower of the 1 car when he stays out of his way, when he does the right things, and when he is able to just drive the way we know he can drive. Like I said, that 7th place at Bristol earlier this season, he had a 7th place at Darlington, a 6th place at Martinsville. That's 3 straight short-ish tracks and short tracks that he had a top 10 finish in that stretch. Now, granted, again, we haven't had very many short tracks since then, right? So it's not a lot to really judge on. He had a bad day at Richmond at 19th place there, an 11th place at Iowa, so missing it by 1, 33rd at Dover. But he did have an 11th place at Darlington a couple of weeks ago, which is where I'm kind of taking my cue from. He started in the top 10 in both of the last 2 races, and if he could just hold serve, like, I don't know what it is about Ross Chastain, but the potential is there. It's kind of like me when I was in elementary school and I would get the report card sent home and they would say, has the potential to be an A student, is a D student. Like I just, that was it. Maybe it was like I talked too much in class. It was maybe because I didn't pay attention, but whatever was holding me back was holding me back. And it's kind of the same with Ross Chastain. Whatever's holding him back is holding him back. It just feels like he should be a much better driver each and every week. So I feel like this is an opportunity on a track that he's already gotten a top 10 finish earlier this season. And granted, he started 35th in that race too. So this wasn't like he started up front and maintained his position. He drove through the field to get to the 7th place finish, which is what he did at Darlington as well. Started 25th, finished 7th. Martinsville started 17th, finished in 6th place. So, Las Vegas earlier that season started 19th, finished in 5th. Phoenix started 24th, finished 11th. A lot of opportunity for him to still get in the top 10, even though he's not finishing well in some of those races. Average finish this season, 16.3. Our friends over at iFantasy Race tell us that his average finish here in the next gen era is 12.2, which is the 6th best in terms of all the drivers in the next gen era on this one. So he's within the top 10 of all these drivers, right ahead of guys like Kozlowski, Briscoe, Priest, Gibbs, McDowell, Byron. So all he's got to do is just do it, right? And just like the expert said, Busch, take that Busch car somewhere toward the front, Ross, please, for us.
The car is the only thing good about Busch, but I highly considered this. I was going back and forth between Chastain and Keselowski. It may sound weird because I know Keselowski's burned us a couple times, but I trust Keselowski more than I trust Chastain right now. But Chastain has been really, really good at Bristol. So I will back you on this, Rod, and look at this man. Oh. This is peak NASCAR dominance right here in Noah Gragson. If you're not listening on the YouTube, or if you're not watching on the YouTube, get over to the YouTube. Check out how beautiful Noah Gragson was with his fire suit undone here. Just
what you just did?
Man, getting all excited.
You know what you just did?
Here.
Now I have to mark that this is an NC-17 video. So now I have to mark that this is mature because that one right there sent it over the edge.
Well, it is a NASCAR Gambling Podcast after dark route, so probably a good idea. Anyways, all right, moving on. Next, I'm going to go with Chase Elliott. Over on Caesars, they've got Group B. This is a very interesting group to me. Chase Elliott, I don't know what he's done to some people, but how he gets thrown in this group is kind of interesting. He's plus 175 as a favorite, but I love him in this group. He's going up against Ty Gibbs. When's the last time we talked about Ty Gibbs?
Other than to tell me that he's well, never mind. Go ahead. Keep going.
Yeah.
I
not. He's been good at Bristol, but outside of that, he's really been quiet lately, not interested. So I don't know. Alex Bowman is in this group. He's 35 points below the cut line. Okay, whatever. And Tyler Reddick is the other guy in this group. And Tyler Reddick's been running really good lately, Rod. But Tyler Reddick, his average finish here of 21.6 is worse than Austin Dillon and John Nemechek and Justin Haley, even Alex Bowman and Cole Custer and Bubba Wallace and Carson Hocevar and Michael McDowell. He is not good at Bristol in a general sense throughout his career. So I don't really know how Chase Elliott got stuck in this group, who, by the way, is really fucking good at Bristol. He has the 4th best average finish. It's Larson, Hamlin, Bell, Elliott, and really those 4 guys stand out well above anyone else. 6.8 is his average finish here in the next gen era, that is. So obviously recently, and that's kind of harmed by his 15th place finish here in the spring, which wasn't great. But 2nd place here last fall, 8th, 7th, 2nd in the fall of 22. So particularly good in the fall races. You like that. The tire race, he was 8th, so it didn't affect him too much there. Very good here pre-next gen era as well. Won the All-Star race that they held here. Led that 129 laps before Harvick wrecked him in that one fall race here as well. Chase Elliott's a guy who I don't have stats on it, but I feel like he's better at nighttime. You think of some guys like Ryan Blaney, I think is one of those guys, better when the lights come on, and Chase Elliott is one of those guys. So he's had some rough weeks lately. We've kind of well documented that, right? But they bounced back last week. The 3rd place finish at a track where he'd been horrible. I don't think he'd ever finished better than 20th. And Hendrick had been horrible, but they didn't look so bad. Mostly bad finishes outside of Elliott, but didn't look so bad. I'm back on the Elliott train once again this week. So I think that this group just isn't it. One guy really stands out. A lot of the groups are, pick your poison. They're all going to run well within each other. This group to me is Chase Elliott, and then we're going way down here. Honestly, Gibbs is probably the 2nd best guy in this group, and that alone should tell you a lot of stuff because he's not been much lately. So I love Chase Elliott in this group at plus.
And that's the hard part about this because I did look at Elliott for a win, right? But it's just so tough because when you've seen the list of winners over the past couple of years, it's been Kyle Larson, it's been Denny Hamlin, it's been, I think Buescher was in there once too. And it was just it's been a hodgepodge of Larson and Hamlin, which is why anybody else kind of cracking into it is tough. And then Chase Elliott has not been winning races as of late, right? And that's what makes it tough. But I do agree with you that he can definitely, beat this.
And that's what makes this bet great is he, like, honestly, I think he could finish 10th, maybe even 15th. And he's probably winning this group. Like, Reddick, I think, is the one wild card because Reddick can have good races and he can put it together, and he's run better lately, but he's not good here overall. I think I'd have to look. I think he had a good finish here in the spring, and maybe that's one of the reasons why he's kind of up here a little bit. No, he was 18th. Like, no good finishes here, right? He was 18th in the spring, 20th, 30th, 15th, 25th. That's 5 next-gen races on the concrete here. And 15th is Tyler Reddick's best finish here. He is not good at this track. He did have a 4th here in the 8 car back in 2020. But outside of that, really bad at this track. So recent performance probably putting him in this group, but this is a runaway for Chase Elliott. There's few times where I feel like a guy just doesn't belong in a group, and I really do feel like that's the case here. So yeah, love Chase Elliott this weekend.
I know Elliott may be good when the lights go down or up, down. No, but this show is definitely better when the lights go down, for sure. All right, Marcus, wake up, buddy. Ooh, hold on.
Lights go down for
Where's
you.
Where's my? There we go. But that's not really a whole lot.
Oh, there we go.
All right.
Yeah, mine didn't do that either, but it just makes our faces look very dark.
Mine,
which mine could use, because I'm not this white in person, I promise. But I get whitewashed on the camera. But whatever.
Camera adds a bunch of, it takes away a bunch of white. Yeah.
White, it does.
All right, Christopher Bell. Marcus, wake up, buddy. This is your bet. Christopher Bell, top 5 plus 150 over on ESPN Bet. Christopher Bell, the 3rd highest average finish at this particular track, courtesy of our friends over at iFantasy Race. Man, let me tell you, Christopher Bell, 4th place in 2022, 3rd place in 2023, 10th place in that tire race in 2024. So we throw that out the window, but 5th place in the fall of 2024, and then an 8th place finish earlier this season, an average finish of 6th place. The thing about Christopher Bell, he even said it himself, especially after this last race. He's like, man, everybody else is fast. Briscoe's fast. Hamlin's fast.
Oh,
and
he was so. Did you hear his audio on the car after? Like, he's pissed that his teammates are running so good.
And I would be too if you're Christopher Bell. He won 3 races back to back to back in the middle or in the beginning of this season, right? And 2nd place finishes all over the place. He had a 2nd place finish at Martinsville, a 3rd place finish at Darlington, that 8th place at Bristol, 2nd place at Kansas. And then you scroll back down to Indy at an 8th place. Man, I mean, it's just, and then last week had a 7th place finish at Gateway, but yeah, he's pissed. But here's the thing, Cody, and this is where I believe that, and I'll talk a little bit more about it in a second, but so you have Hamlin already in. You have Briscoe already in. Where will all of your attention turn to the one driver that needs to have a very good day in order to advance?
I do.
Right? Because guess what? They're throwing everything they've got in that 20 car. So this is why you fade the 54, because that 54 is about to be a brick on wheels. There's going to be absolutely.
Well, I noticed we haven't heard anything about Gabehart on the 54 box anymore.
Yeah,
because they don't care.
They give 2 rats asses about any of it. But yeah, that 20 car is about to be super charged. They're going to spend every second they've got trying to make that car as fast as humanly possible. And to me, that screams at least a top 5 finish for Christopher Bell on a track that he's done that 3 out of 5 times in the next gen era, right? I mean, it's not hard to see where the conspiracy lines are starting to draw between where everything is and how fast Gibbs is already and how fast they're going to make that 20 car. I mean, if there wasn't tape under the decals before, there's about to be tape under every decal going into this, because they're throwing everything they've got into this 20 car. And there'll be cardboard all over the track, over the track for Christopher Bell. But here's the whole end of it is that I think that he is going to be at least a top 5 car this week at plus 150. And I think that's a fantastic number for a guy who has consistently done this and is driving one of the cars of the fastest teams on the track right now.
Yeah, so I do like the angle of pour everything you have into this. Two things that I will say here: 32 points to the good. It's going to benefit them to play conservative, and that could mean not winning this race because they cannot fuck this up and not make the next round. So that scares me a bit. Also, I'll be rooting for him to have another bad race because I'm going to bet so much money on him next week at New Hampshire that it's not even going to be funny because he's going to kill everybody at that racetrack. So I just need one more week of him being bad, and then he can really jump on it next week. So I would like to see that.
I want to.
But experts suck. This sets me up, Rod. Go ahead.
Oh, no, yeah, because you're actually about to talk about one of them. But I'll tell you right now, with Joey Logano, hardest guy in the entire garage.
No, this isn't hard. Let me read off his finishes in the next gen. 24th, 28th, 22nd, 34th, and 27th. Bad. Even worse in the fall races, 28th, 34th, and 27th. I mean, not that you can get much worse than bad anyways, but he's been eliminated before in this round at this track. Like, yeah, he's 21 points to the good. Don't be surprised if he gets eliminated this weekend. I wouldn't be surprised. He seems to have in his non-championship winning years, and really even last year he was eliminated from the playoffs last year until the Bowman weight failure that put him back in, and he obviously wins the championship. He's had really, really bad luck. Like, don't be surprised if Joey Logano is the first driver out in this race, which leads me to top finishing Ford, Rod, because I think that this market once again is wide open. Ryan Blaney's minus 130, as he should be. Best Ford driver, best car, should go out and get it done. But if he doesn't get it done, that's what we're banking on, right? Is somebody else getting it. Joey Logano, I just read you how fucking horrible he's been at this track. Now, he can go win this race because he does those kinds of things, but he's not been good in any way, shape, or form in the next gen era in this car. Brad Keselowski's next on the list. I like some Brad Keselowski. You can get him at plus 650, so I'm going to take that. But then going down the list, Chris Buescher. I got a milk carton over here with Chris Buescher's face on it, Rod. The fuck has he been? I need to go look through his finishes. I have no idea. I don't think I've heard Chris Buescher's name in, it feels like 3 months. Is he still racing the Cup Series? Is he missing? I don't know. I could guess either one, and I would have no idea which one is correct. So, and I wanted to bet on him because he's been good at this track, but he's just been so bad lately. Josh Berry, we documented earlier how bad he's been so far in the playoffs. Ryan Preece, hit and miss. Austin Cindric. And then we've really named like 2 drivers that could get this done, and now we're at Noah Gragson at 60-1. So that's my 2 guys, Brad Keselowski plus 650 and Noah Gragson. We're taking the gut to the top, right? Well, not quite to the top, just to the top of the Ford section at plus 600. So, that's the way I'm playing it. I think that, again, this is wide open. It should be Ryan Blaney, but if it's not Ryan Blaney, again, it's completely wide open. I think Keselowski is going to be good this week, and I'm just going with the gut play on Noah Gragson. I don't know why I'm playing Noah Gragson again. The stats aren't really there. Some things you can cling to, but I just like him this week. So Keselowski, Gragson, top Ford in case Blaney.
Cody's at the plate. He's got his fingers pointed out toward the number 4 out there in right field. He's just calling his shot because that's where we're at with this one. So if you hit this home run, buddy, Babe Ruth himself will come out and congratulate you for that one.
That's right. Yeah, that is your kind of guy. Experts suck. So I better see some Gragson.
Let's go
this week.
All right. Well, this is okay. So this winning car number bet is brought to you by, I just don't want to be burned if one of these guys end up winning, because I am not on anybody in this one. And so I feel like these guys, obviously this number band has enough people underneath it that can burn you, and I don't want to get burned by it. So winning car number under 10.5. This is a plus 185 over on Caesars. Kind of don't have to necessarily read you who's there, but I will if you're not really all that familiar with the drivers under 10.5. You got Ross Chastain, who we just talked about, right? One of the drivers that can get this done. Top 10, fringe top 5, obviously can come out and win a race on accident every once in a while. This could be one of those races that he ends up winning and just kind of spoils the whole rest of the world. He is 19 above the cut line. He doesn't need to necessarily win, but he also doesn't need to have a bad day. And what better way to not have a bad day than to win the race entirely? So Ross Chastain can take it into its own hands and just win this race. Austin Cindric, always a threat to end up winning any race that you kind of throw yourself into. Another guy that is right there on the cut line, needs a really good day, could end up winning. Austin Dillon, same situation, right? He is below the cut line, needs a really good day, probably just wants to win this race to be able to get in. Noah Gragson, hell, let's just send this ball all the way across the wall and put Noah Gragson in victory lane just for the living hell of it. But if he wins and we don't have any money on him to win outright, then there it is. And then, of course, you come to young Kyle Larson. Young money, hung money, shook money, whatever you want to call it. If he ends up winning this race, because I'm not putting anything on an outright for Kyle Larson, there's just no way on God's green earth you can actually make me say Kyle Larson plus 275 to win. Listen, you're not even taking that much of a discount at plus 160 or plus 180 rather to get this right here, plus 185.
This is so much better than betting at some books plus 210 for Kyle.
Yeah,
Larson.
and you're not getting that much. I mean, you're not losing that much out of the deal if you take this one and he ends up winning. So plus you get Brad Keselowski, who Cody just talked about earlier as being a good car. Obviously Justin Haley, but whatever. Kyle Busch, who we've talked about, just needs a really good day. And then Chase Elliott. And then Ty Dillon for the hell of it, just because. But, you know, these guys are the ones that, like I said, just don't want to get burned by any of them if they end up winning, because there's a lot of drivers underneath this number that have a lot to drive for. And any one of them could end up winning this race and win their way into the next round because they need to. And you'd be good. So I like under 10.5 at plus 185 because this is the de facto Kyle Larson play at a cheap discount, just in case one of these other guys end up winning.
Which Joe Gibbs Racing cars were in this
That's
group?
why you cover yourself with the head-to-heads.
No.
That's
why I don't like it, Rod, because Joe Gibbs Racing plus 125 to win. I had every intention of that just being my play this week, because how do you bet against them right now? But it doesn't really make sense to take it at that number. When you get Denny Hamlin at plus 460, I'm sorry. Kyle Larson is plus 210, and Denny Hamlin is plus 460. Oh, but Kyle Larson's average finish is 2.8. Oh my God. Denny Hamlin is 3.4, and he's actually finished some races here lately. Denny Hamlin, absolutely amazing at Bristol. And let's keep in mind, he's coming into this race with no sweat. They don't have to worry about nothing. This will be the chillest, easiest race. Him and Briscoe already being locked into this thing. Even Kyle Larson has to be a little bit careful. He's 60 points to the good. Obviously, when you can only score 61, that's pretty good. 52 over the next guy because, of course, you could get a winner from below. But he can't just go step on it right away. Denny can go wreck in lap one, and it's fine. It doesn't matter because he's into the next thing, which you like a guy that can race like that. But he is so fucking good at this track. Second here in the spring, fourth place here last fall. He won here in March of 20, and second place in the spring, by the way. He ran every single lap basically right behind Kyle Larson. I mean, they couldn't pass at all, which was unfortunate. But by the way, been qualifying good. If track position super important like it was in the spring, love that for Denny Hamlin. Likely going to be on the pole or on the front row. So you like to see that. Second here in the spring, fourth last fall, one here in the spring of 24, one here in the fall of 23, led 163, led 142 in those two races, ninth in the first next-gen race here. But pre-next gen, very good here. Multiple wins, tons and tons of top fives. Been amazing. And then, I don't even think I should have to read for you what he's done lately, but won last week at Gateway, seventh at Darlington. But if you go back a couple of weeks, he won at Dover, the most recent comp track we had. Third at Indianapolis, the second at Pocono, one at Michigan, third at Nashville. Been a great stretch of races for Denny. There was a couple of bad ones in there, right? Indy, Iowa had some problems. Even Richmond wasn't great, but they figured things out, racing with no sweat. That's what you love to see. And speaking of that, why would we not keep betting this? It almost, I thought this was going to cash again last week at a nice number for us. Chase Briscoe, late in that race, had the chance to win. He keeps putting himself there each and every week. They keep giving him to us at plus 950. If you priced Chase Briscoe and Kyle Larson at plus 950 in this race, I would take Chase Briscoe before I would take Kyle Larson. And Kyle Larson is plus 210. It makes no sense. please, friends, do not bet on Kyle Larson this week. If he wins, fine. I will have 0 ounces of sadness in me for not being on that. It's insane how low his number is. But plus 950 for Chase Briscoe is a great number. Obviously, we know how good he's been lately. By the way, he's also been pretty good here at Bristol. His 1 start with Joe Gibbs, 4th place in the spring. That was back in April before they really figured things out. And yet, he still had a good run here. Back in the Stewart-Haas race, 8th place last fall. A couple of races before they got rid of this race was later too, September 21st. So we were more weeks into the season at that point, almost about to shut that program down. 13th here in the race before that, 14th and 13th back in 22-21. So he's run good here and very good here back in the spring. Obviously, lately, 2nd place last week once again, 1 at Darlington. Couple rough weeks at Daytona and Richmond, but 5th at Watkins Glen, 2nd at Iowa, 2nd at Dover, by the way. Led a few laps there. 2nd to Denny Hamlin. Comp track. Been an absolutely great season for him. We're going to continue to hammer it. And Brad Keselowski at 35-1. Won here somewhat recently. He could get it done. Maybe we get tire chaos. They're going to be a team that could just roll the dice because fuck it, why not? They love to gamble, which we love, obviously. Hashtag DGens only. And they got nothing to lose. They're not in the playoffs. He can go for it. He can get it done. He's been really good at this track. We've seen enough from him lately. 35-1, worth a shot for a long insurance play. Maybe we get some chaos. Maybe Larson steps on it, takes out Briscoe, Hamlin, and Keselowski's there to steal.
So I absolutely love your Hamlin. That was one that I was eyeballing until I got to the dock and it was already in. But yeah, most definitely, there's no reason why Hamlin should be plus 450. And again, if you really don't want to get burned by a Kyle Larson win, just go bet the winning car number, and then you're happy because if he wins, then you're fine. If he doesn't, then no harm, no foul. Hopefully, one of the other guys under 10.5 end up winning for you, and you have a good day because of it. So, yeah, definitely don't want the Kyle Larson side of it unless you're betting that car number out of that. All right, so my guy then it's Christopher Bell plus 850 over on FanDuel. Caesars has a 10-1 boost on him. Thank you, Cody, for putting that in the doc. So 10-1 for Christopher Bell. I mean, look, he's led laps on 3 of the last 5 races on this track. 143 laps he led in 2023 in the fall. Started on the pole, ended up finishing 3rd in that one. But 187 laps he led he started 8th and finished 4th in that race where he led 143 laps. In 2023 in the fall, he started on the pole, finished 3rd after leading 187 laps. 29 laps he led in 2024. Hasn't led laps in the last couple of races, but I mean, look, it's Christopher Bell. He's got to get back to form. Like you feel like he probably just went back to the garage, went back to the facility and was like, WTF, guys. Like, why am I the slow one now? What did I do? Who did I piss off? Did I call somebody too late? Did I text you when I shouldn't have? Like, what happened? What's the deal, guys? So for Christopher Bell, I mean, this is just a make it. And Cody, I know you talked about him not wanting to step on it or to screw things up, but what better way to just control your own destiny than just go out and win the race, right? I mean, I know that you want the best point stays possible. I know that you want to stay out of trouble, but ultimately, if you're driving a Joe Gibbs racing machine, the best way for you to control your own destiny is just to go out and win the race. And that's something that's something Christopher Bell is capable of doing. And I think that's probably what he's preaching to his entire garage this week. Look, let's just go out and win. Let's have all 3 Joe Gibbs racing machines that are in the playoffs win the first races of the round. Holy shit. Let's get this sentence out, shall we?
We're almost there.
So damn close. Check my gas mileage. I feel like I might be out of fuel at this point, but no, listen, yeah, just how much better is it for you to just go out and win, right? And so for Christopher Bell, plus 850 should not be a number for Christopher Bell. I mean, again, I feel like with Kyle Larson being so low, everybody else is at such a great price that you have to take them. And so for you, you're taking the one that's won the last couple, but I'm going to take the one that wants to win again because they need to prove that they belong in the same conversation with the Hamlins and the Briscoes of the world. So give me Christopher Bell plus 850 to win this race. Marcus, I hope I'm your best friend after this.
You're a week too early, Rod. Next week is Christopher
That's
Bell week.
fine. He could go back to back.
True, he could do that, but man, it's tough. He's not won since early on this year. That's the concerning thing. He is due, and that's why he's going to cash that due ticket next week at New Hampshire.
That's fine. But at the very least, if you bet Christopher Bell top 5 and outright, hopefully one of those will cash for you, because I think that top 5 is a lock. But if he's top 5, then he's probably going to want the win. So give me that.
Yeah. And like if you get this boost on Caesars at 10-1, getting Hamlin at 480 or 460, Briscoe 950, him at 10-1, you're still better off than betting Gibbs at plus 125. Because I mean, I hate to say it, I thought Spring Bristol was going to be Ty Gibbs' time, like I was calling him. It's not. He doesn't have a time.
Thank
apparently.
God.
But,
whoa. Let's not gloss over that, my friend.
Anyways.
No. Hey, listen.
Next year. It's next year.
Bookmark 1 hour, 15 minutes, and 42 seconds. That is exactly what.
Next year, we'll be back on the Ty Gibbs train. I love him, but it's just.
There is no train.
It's been rough to be.
That train has been derailed over the Grand Canyon, and it is now well and thoroughly demolished. But all right, get out your pen and paper if you still have it, and get ready for our bets for this Bristol night race. I started you out with Kyle Busch over Josh Berry at minus 115. Might be the yuckiest of all yuckies, but you could hang through and watch this one finish out. Then I gave you Zane Smith over 22.5 at minus 110. That means he's going to finish worse than 22.5. Ross Chastain, top 10 at plus 160. Christopher Bell at top 5 at plus 150. Winning car number under 10.5 at plus 185. And then Christopher Bell to win this race at plus 850. Cody gave you Bubba Wallace over Alex Bowman at minus 105. Brad Keselowski as a top 10 car at plus 150. John Hunter Nemechek as a top 10 car at plus 450. AJ Allmendinger, my spirit driver, top 10 at 6-1. Noah Gragson, looking all sexy as hell, top 10 at 9-1. Elliott to win Group B at plus 175 over on Caesars. And then gave you Brad Keselowski as top 4 at plus 650. Noah Gragson, going to top 4 at 60. Sorry, it's getting late. Denny Hamlin to win the race at plus 460. Chase Briscoe at plus 950. Brad Keselowski to win the race, looking all 35-1. We need to go. You gotta watch YouTube, folks. Just for cameos from Sexy as Hell, Noah Gragson. Absolutely.
Apparently, I was muted the whole time I was trying to talk there. But go over to YouTube. NASCAR Gambling Podcast on YouTube. Look at this picture. Look at this man right here in front of you, and tell me you don't want to bet on that. How do you not want to bet on that this week? I mean, it's just, yeah.
If you're not running the counter, something's incredibly wrong with you. All right. Well, tomorrow will not be quite as late. We will actually try to have a show out to you at a reasonable time for what we hope.
We'll see what the books think about that.
The Xfinity and the Truck Series. We'll have those together if there are odds for you. If not, we may have to shift DFS early. And then, actually, no, we can't really, because Thursday night is.
We need to get trucks in tomorrow, so hopefully the books. Yeah, just TBD. Stay tuned to the NASCAR Gambling Podcast YouTube channel. Click that bell; it'll notify you always when we go live. Of course, I always try to ping everybody in the Discord as well. But yeah, it's in the book's hands. We need truck odds, and we need to get that show tomorrow with that race being on Thursday. So yeah, hopefully they help us out here.
All right, thanks everybody for joining us with your bottle, with your little glass of Cavassier, and a little bit of fun and late night shenanigans in the chat. So all right, Cody, let's go to bed, shall we? Tell everybody where they can find you out there when you're not in bed.
It is past my bedtime, Rod. You can follow me over on the X at Husker_Zeeb, where you can find all of my work, lots of it. Rod and I are previewing every NFL game over on sportsgamblingpodcast.com, along with tons and tons of other content over there. Make sure you always check that out. Appreciate all the support. And good luck, everybody. And we'll see you tomorrow. We'll talk some trucks and hopefully Xfinity.
For the record, Cody did not agree with either one of my bets for last night's game. However, both hit. Minnesota won, and DJ Moore had at least.
I was feeling so good about that Chicago +1. I was already at the bank when JJ McCarthy showed up to the game.
Listen, sometimes you just got to.
You nailed it, Rod. That's why you're the pro. That's why you had that game. Congrats to whoever assigned that game to you. They did a great job by knowing you'd have the right picks.
Follow me on Twitter for more of my fantastic thoughts. And I had RJ Villagomez. They're not fantastic. I guarantee you right now. You're going to follow and go unfollow as soon as you follow, and that's fine. But RJ Villagomez, you can find it there over on Twitter. I'll link to all my stuff, whether it's here, whether it's in between media. Go check out the Back Road Thursday, where Seth and Elliott are going to talk about the fantastic Bristol race. Thanks for joining us again so late at night for NASCAR After Dark. Hope you enjoyed it. And if it wasn't your cup of tea, don't worry. We'll be back in the sun again tomorrow. Love you all. Till then, let's go racing and let it ride.